Hey guys, Uncle Ray. Welcome to another episode of the Crypto Bellwether. I don't always tell you what you want to hear, but I tell you what you need to hear to make an informed decision. Well, guys, we're going to talk about Stronghold. One of my subscribers asked me to take a look at it, and I'm glad he did. Now, it is built on the Stellar XLM ecosystem, and we're going to talk about Stellar as well. Because the real reason I created this video is it's been brought to my attention, which I kind of already knew, but not to this degree, that Stellar kind of is in the shadows of Ripple XRP, not only with all the influencers who, hype up XRP that think that everything to do with cross-border payments, CBDCs, or anything to do with banking is Ripple XRP news. And quite frankly, a lot of time it's not. And no one reports on it. And I have missed some information that was just brought to my attention. And the more I started to understand it, this is not a slide to Ripple or XRP, but long term, I believe with everything that Stellar is setting up around the world, long term, it's going to outperform as an investment than XRP. Now, this is not financial advice, and I'm not here to stir up anything. That's just my opinion. But I'm going to lay out a case of why XLM should be getting every bit as much of attention as XRP does, but it doesn't have a hyped up army that wants to promote it. But if it did, you could pretty much pump XLM just as much as you could XRP, because there's that much information you could hype up if you chose to, which I don't want anyone to do. The hardest thing about doing research is cutting through all the hype and misinformation to get down to what is real. And that's why in 2023, I'm hitting it really hard to stand up against all the hype and the influence BS out there. And I want to bring you the good information and hopefully point you in the right direction so we can all capitalize on what's coming down the pipe. And you don't have hopium, you have good factual information so you can stack and trade the right protocols. That's my goal. Now, so I'm going to share some information that I missed, and we're also going to take a look at the charts. So stay with me and let's get into it. Now, if you're not familiar with Stronghold, I highly recommend go to their website, stronghold.co, surf around, maybe check out their white paper. They have a good team. Everything looks really good, and it's kind of like a relationship between Polygon Matic and Ethereum. Not because of the gas fees, but they kind of compete, which no matter what, when you build on top of an ecosystem like Stellar, Stellar still benefits. It's a win-win. Now, we know that Stellar XLM has had a long relationship with IBM, but this project is new and it's a very low cap project, and they have the same type relationship with IBM. Now, if you don't know, IBM, I would say, is one of the top 3 most influential corporations in the world at moving crypto and Web3 and digital assets forward. It is a powerhouse, and almost every major project, whether it's with JP Morgan or Google or a government around the world, IBM is in on it. So this is a really good thing to see that IBM says IBM leverages Stronghold's blockchain infrastructure to transform payments. That's really good to see. Now, basically, to simplify it, check this out. It says Stronghold, create your own virtual payment network. Build modern and interoperability payment networks for your organization, or learn more about the Stronghold powered payment network. Here's what I like about this, guys. You know, when you see all around the world these new companies that you can make payments with. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of apps. And I've seen a lot of photos like in Europe and Africa where you see the Stellar logo like on someone's phone and they're making a payment. Well, if I'm understanding this right, and I'm sure IBM this is kind of what they're using Stronghold to do. This is kind of like white label, or it's a Web3, way to move into crypto and blockchain in a box and accept payments and then grow your ecosystem as your understanding grows and as the adoption around the world grows. This could be a powerhouse project because of that, guys. Now, and quite frankly, if you've got a developer type background, it would be a great business model to approach them and put it in a box and go to the mom and pops around the world, even in your local area, and educate them how to move into Web3 and maybe use Stronghold as that business product that you could sell, not financial advice. But let's look at the chart, guys. Now, this chart doesn't look bullish, but it came out hard and it had a good pump just like everything else. All these charts kind of look the same. And at the end of 2021 had a good pump, so that's good to see. But it's been to 6 cents. And right now you can buy it at 0.001. So that is a pretty good risk reward. A small bag might go a long way. So it is on my watch list. And no matter what, I'm probably going to stack a little bit of it. Now, for full disclosure, I own every token that we're talking about. Now, here's kind of what brought this video on about wanting to talk about Stellar, is because this morning I watched some of Crypto Erie's video. I get up real early and she's on a different time zone, and she has a lot of good information. And she was talking about the Nevada Bank, Ripple, and Stellar partnership. Now, that brought a lot to my attention. I was like, I created 2 videos. I remember when all that happened, they talked about opening different corridors, and they talked about the Ripple partnership and ODL. And then they talked about when Nevada came out, they had a big partnership with Ripple, and they were going to be able to grow, and they got their banking license. Now, somehow, as much research as I did not hear anyone talking about how Nevada had a partnership with Stellar XLM. So I decided to dig into it because she posted this diagram, and I was like, well, it's obviously true. How did I miss that? Well, here's what I believe, guys. There's so much hyped up BS that goes on in the crypto market, and a lot of it is about Ripple XRP, that any news that comes out for an ISO 222 compliant token where they talk about CBDC, stablecoins, payments, it doesn't matter. There's 1,000 videos pumping Ripple XRP because they act like every single trade in the world, which some people out there have said the very ignorant statement that everything in the world will run on XRP rails, which is bizarre. And I quite frankly, guys, good luck getting your information with someone that thinks you can dominate anything 100% anywhere in the world about anything. I want to get on a tangent. But think about this, guys. So I said, look, I'm going to go down the rabbit hole. So I remember the news that said NVIDIA Group is using ODL. That was really positive. No mention of Stellar partnership. But now check this out. This is crazy to me. Not only are we getting misinformation every day about Ripple and XRP from influencers that just want to pump their bags and pump their channel, we're getting it from like the news groups and Google. Check this out. I typed in Stellar NVIDIA partnership. Has nothing to do with Ripple whatsoever. And what comes up from Google? Navidi Group, a leading Australian Ripple customer, which was launched in 2025, has announced it's developing a AUDC stablecoin in conjunction with Ripple fintech firm with plans to deploy it on XRP Ledger. Now here's the crazy part, guys. That's 100% old news. Ripple has nothing to do with the stablecoin, and it's been deployed or being deployed, their stablecoin, with Stellar XLM rails. So guys, we're missing some really positive news. Now, in my opinion, there's two partnerships there, and they're both bullish. And again, not a slide on XRP whatsoever. I own them both. But if I had to choose which one was going to move my token forward, I think it's a bigger news event long term for Stellar. And I'll tell you why. Because they're using ODL, which Ripple basically loans out their escrow. They charge them a lot of fees, and no one, and including this bank, will not go into the market and have to buy XRP. So what you want to see in a perfect world is they have to do that. Well, anytime you ever hear anything about Stellar Foundation or Stellar XLM, you know that no matter what transpires, they have to go into the market and buy the XLM token. And we're going to get into why that's so bullish in a minute. But if you think about it, it has better tokenomics, and some of these corridors that Stellar XLM is using, and even though they are trying to bank the unbanked, in my opinion, 10 years from now, there's going to be more transactions outside of the bank than with the banks. Yes, your large corporations will still be using the banks and maybe Wall Street, but the odds are people like me and you, for sure, and the unbanked today will never walk into a bank or need a bank again for nothing. We'll be able to borrow against our crypto stack in DeFi, and we don't have to do anything with the bank in the future. And that's going to benefit Stellar more, because check this out, guys. People are missing this, in my opinion. There's two quarters, two places in the world that Stellar is on the forefront, from my understanding. They are the early adopters, or they're adopting people into their ecosystem, into their payment structure. They're banking the unbanked in Africa and in India. Check this out. In Africa, there's 350 million people that are unbanked, and XLM Stellar is dominating Africa. And guys, people don't understand, when you fast forward this technology that gives the average person a chance at, getting ahead in life and capitalizing on some resources, which Africa arguably has some of the most resources in the world, but it only goes to their government. It doesn't trickle down to the average citizen. But that hopefully will change through like Bitcoin, Lightning Network, and Stellar XLM. I hope I'm right. But as they get more adoption and better understanding of how Web3 and digital assets and all that works, Africa is going to rally up the world rankings. Now, no ifs and buts about it. I don't know how long it's going to take them, but I would say, in let's just say 50 years, there's a very, very good chance that India is the #1 powerhouse in the world, definitely in front of America and China. I could be wrong, but no doubt I can't see them not being in the top 3, because India has the biggest population in the world, very, very intelligent, a lot of doctors, a lot of engineers. I can't remember, I think it was Algorand that went into India and partnered with the universities. It was either Algorand or HBAR. I think it was Algorand. Partnered with the universities to create the first blockchain, crypto coding degrees for the engineers over there and the developers. And those guys are picking it up really fast, and they can go through that program in like 2 or 3 years. And when you've got, what, 1 billion people, whatever their number is, that are highly educated in crypto, guys, I'm telling you, India is going to be a powerhouse. And look what it says in this article. It says you might not be familiar with ICICI Bank, but in India, they are a giant powerhouse. So XLM has a partnership with them. So I think, guys, we're missing a lot of information about Stellar. And we, in the big picture, 10 years from now, I think they have just as good a use case. And with their tokenomics and how everyone has to go into the market and buy XLM, I think it's going to be a better long-term investment. It's just my opinion. I own them both, so it doesn't really matter. But I just want to say this to the people that, like I said, that, the influencers out there that are always hyping the token. Guys, you got to be careful of this misinformation. I remember when the Ukraine announced that they were going to use CBDCs that run on Stellar. I watched an influencer literally do a video to his community and say he can't comprehend, he can't even believe he was thrown off when the Ukrainian government picked Stellar XLM over XRP. He couldn't believe it. Think about it, guys. This is real world investing. This isn't hyped up joke. You're competing against knowledgeable big boys. You better learn what the competition is doing, in my opinion. Don't mean to rag on you guys, but guys, you got to look at the competition and forget what you think is the best tech. It doesn't matter what me and you think. He thought XRP was, but the Ukraine government thinks Stellar is, so they chose them. NVIDIA had already had a relationship with Ripple XRP, but when it comes to stablecoins, they chose Stellar. MoneyGram left XRP relationship and started in Ripple and moved over to Stellar XLM. So when you hear someone tell you that, Ripple XRP is going to dominate the world, you might want to go look at my video that I just created about China, the banks, and Wall Street. And then also check the competitors, the direct competitors, whether it's HBAR or Stellar. Because, guys, the odds are, no matter what, the legacy banking system are going to keep control for at least, say, the next 25 years of what they already control. Because people are always bringing up the fact, for instance, and I don't mean to rag on Ripple whatsoever, but they're always talking about, well, they have all these relationships around the world. Well, guys, they're not the home team. JP Morgan, for instance, has like 4,000 relationships with the banks around the world, and they're the central big boy banks like the U.S. government. So you see what the U.S. government is doing with Ripple. They're not doing that to JP Morgan. So guys, I don't mean to get on my high horse, but you need to look at all the projects. Don't be biased. Don't be dogmatic, because there's definitely an argument to be had. And this is just one of the competitors that Stellar XLM is going to compete with Ripple XRP in almost every category. Yes, they do not have ODL, but there's ways to compete in that environment as well, for whatever that's worth. So, guys, when you look at the chart, it's not as positive as you'd like to see, but it's kind of in line with everything else. But guys, it tried to rally, earlier. Let's see, when was that? Hold on a second. It tried to rally earlier this year, and just like everything else, it fell down. But right now, it's about 7 cents, and it's been as high as 91 cents. That's not the biggest upside, but I believe in the next bull run, with everything, comes together with compliance, hopefully Ripple XRP wins and the Fed pivots, I don't see why Stellar doesn't take out its old high, changing gears. Now again, guys, it's not an insult whatsoever on Ripple XRP. This is mainly about Stronghold and Stellar being in the shadows. Because guys, you got to pay attention. There's a lot of good projects out there, and Stellar is definitely one of them. All right, guys, that's all I got for you. Let me know what you think in the comments section. If you haven't subscribed, please do so. Hit that notification so you don't miss anything. Either way, hit that like button and come back and be part of this community. Take care, guys.